Welcome to the Office Latte Podcast, where we go beyond the boardroom to explore new conversations on life and career. I'm Erin Kennedy, CEO of Professional Resume Services, and wife, mother, sister, daughter, aunt, and friend. Now, let's dive in. Hey, Sam, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Good. So I'm just going to say it. It's a beautiful sunny day here. And the reason I'm saying it is because it's been very cloudy in Michigan.
Yes.
So it's good.
We're now getting into that fall season. I'm excited.
I know. I'm going to, when it's too cold and I don't really do my walks outside, I kind of stick to the treadmill. So I'm going to miss that this winter. The colder it gets, the more I'm just a wimp. So I just stay inside and, put my tablet on my treadmill and walk.
That's a good idea. Yeah, no, I feel like when I lived in Michigan, I would either like bundle up 5 layers, but then
Oh my
after
gosh.
the second though the
Yeah.
snow hits the ground, it's just like I don't want to trip and fall because I have done that before on a walk. So I
Right.
just I'd rather just bundle up and then go to the gym or like you said, do like at-home treadmill workout.
Exactly. Exactly. And you know what? I need to keep walking. I've been
Same.
walking, well, pretty consistently on and off for like 2 years because I've lost some weight.
Yeah.
And I love the energy that it gives me. But so, on that note, you know who our next guest is. I have been so looking forward to this conversation. So let me just give you a little background on him. His name is Alex Hall. He and I connected on LinkedIn, and he is the DNA fat loss coach, which
Ooh.
totally, was like, okay, I need to learn more about this. Plus, he says he helps, let me read this. He helps busy executives age 40 to 55. Yes, I am in that range, even though I look 29.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would
Age,
have never guessed.
oh, thanks. I help busy execs 40 to 55 get visibly leaner and more energized using DNA-led precision coaching that fits
Okay.
travel, client dinners, and real life. And I'm like, oh my gosh, sign me up. I mean,
Yeah.
not only does he like hit my age range, but also I just love that he talks about helping executives, like helping people, like helping, get through work. And I know you and I have talked about um, you know,
Just like people in the
eating on
office, like
lunch. Yeah.
yeah, like we
Yeah.
like, and I talk to some people about it now as someone who's fully remote, but like being in the office is such a different experience if you're on a diet or going through, as they say, lifestyle changes. Like even if you just want to change your diet, you're not necessarily going on a diet. I've been in offices where people will notice or they take notice or other people want to talk
Notice
about
what?
it. Just
Notice
like
what? Like,
notice, say, changes in eating or
oh,
like
really? Did they
just
point it out to you? They're like, Summer, I noticed
I've
you're
been
eating
in
your bananas.
offices. I've been in offices where they do. I
It can be hard
Alex,
at work. It
yeah.
can be really hard at work. Yeah. And like,
Yeah.
and like we were saying, it is very personal. I mean, you knew that I was, on a weight loss journey. I hate that
Hmm.
phrase, but whatever. But, or just, because I'm not getting any younger. And my whole thing is I want to stay as
Yeah.
active and like healthy
Healthy.
as I
Yeah.
can. The older I get, because, we've seen, I just, everywhere I go, I see people that are just like, or like at the doctor's office and you see people
Yeah.
sitting there and they look so unhealthy. And I think, okay, what can I do to like, you know,
Yeah.
not, or extend that or whatever, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. Curious to see what Alex talks about in terms of the office chatter, but then
yeah,
also all that stuff about the DNA. I feel like I have no idea, so I'm really excited to learn about it too.
yeah. Yes, me too. The DNA thing is what really grabbed my attention, the DA informed weight loss. He coaches execs and senior leaders to overcome their fat loss plateau using DNA led coaching. He's been running his business for about 6 years, working with clients all over the world, taking a health led, personalized approach to sustainable fat loss. So, without further ado, let's bring him on.
Let's do it.
Alex, hi! I am so glad you're here talking with me today.
Thanks for having me. No, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, I have been looking forward to this for a while because, you and I met on LinkedIn. And the thing that really, to me, set you apart from other weight loss coaches is that you are the DNA fat loss coach. So immediately, and I also love how you say, you coach executives, senior executives, so to me that totally resonates because you are talking with people who are working and helping them, get energized using, DNA-led precision coaching and helping them do it while at work. So that totally resonates with me. So let me ask you, how did you get into this? I mean, tell me everything.
Yes, let's start quite far back. So I was a teenager who didn't want to leave the house, right? Who ate quite a lot of food and just wanted to sit and play games, video games. And through, should we say, parental pushing, which I now appreciate, I was sort of pushed to, oh, go on, Alex, it's summer, go on, get some fresh air, go and do some exercise. Um, and basically, everything was based around how can I get the most out of the least amount of time. Right? So efficiency was built in.
Okay.
That I think came from the games that I used to play. So I used to play RPG role-playing games, and the key
Hmm.
thing there is, so you level up, you repeatedly do actions, you get better at those things, and then you can do more. You unlock better gear, you unlock, new skills, etc. Kind of like in life in a way, which I quite like that sort of similarity. But it was all about, right, if I'm level 20 and I want to get to level 40, what's the most efficient, quickest way I can do that?
Okay.
So I would sort of analyze. I'm an engineer by trade or by degree. I've always been sort of analytical, rational, problem-solving kind of person. It's always been about how can I get the most out of what it is that I'm doing. So first I applied that to exercise, started doing a bit of cycling, a bit of running, that sort of thing. Started lifting a bit of weights. So it starts with exercise, running, cycling, weightlifting, that sort of thing, or getting into weights, I should say. Because I think when we all start, we can't exactly say that we're proper weightlifters and doing it all properly. And then I started to realize, well, with that, actually, doing the exercise is about 40% of it, I now realize. A huge chunk of the getting the results, getting the benefit is actually in what you eat. And then as I eventually learned, was also in how you rest and recover. How do you sleep,
Oh,
etc. But the key one is how you eat. So then I started to apply this, okay, well, I want to do the least effort, most highest output actions to improve my, food intake. I'm very lucky I brought up, so my mum's Italian, so I've always eaten pretty well. I've always had sort of family dinners, that sort of
lucky.
thing. One challenge of that would be, because
A lot
obviously
of
it sounds
pasta.
sounds fantastic, everything was home cooked basically. One challenge is celebrations, any sort of weekend events, even during the week. It was like, tough day at work, whatever. Right, let's have a really nice dinner, make a pudding, that sort of thing. So there's always lots and lots of food, which kind of drove part of the, right, well, I need to be mindful of exercise, what we're doing exercise-wise, how am I getting the most from that? And then when it comes to food, what changes can I make to ensure I'm getting the output from it? I was maths, physics, sort of sciencey kind of person, went into engineering, studied engineering. Throughout my engineering degree, I realized that's not where my passion lies. I'd say my professors would be a little embarrassed, but I would say I spent more time understanding and researching health and well-being during my time getting a 4-year master's degree.
Really?
Um, in health and well-being and fitness and training, all that sort of stuff, than I did studying for my degree. So when I
So
graduated,
that's
I
a sign
moved.
right there that you knew. Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't go straight into it. I sort of took a mid path, which was working in sort of analytics, so using my sort of problem-solving analytical brain, but within e-commerce, but within the health space, health and well-being space, and then did that for a few years, which was really interesting from a sort of analytical point of view, but also from a product point of view. I was quite involved with NPD, new product development, and testing things, sort of understanding what people were kind of looking to
Okay.
buy, what the market wanted. And then there also became an element of management. So I became manager, started building up a team, got to a team of 4. And I realized the most satisfying part of my role was not the technical side, but the management of my team, the mentoring, the development. We could
All
call it
right.
coaching, right?
Right. Right.
So changed role, worked for another company for a bit. That wasn't a good fit. Eventually, sort of was in what should we call it? Let's call it a quarter life crisis. Finished one job, didn't have anything else lined up, and I was like, right, what do I really, really want to do with my
Yeah.
life, with my time, with my career? And I
Yes.
thought 2 things that I'm really, really passionate about. Number one is health, nutrition, exercise, etc. That sort
Hmm.
of understanding, that development there. Then the other side was the people side, the sort of coaching, the mentoring.
Right.
So I put the two together and said, well, let's give sort of health coaching a go. And that's what I did.
Yeah.
And that was 2019. I set out on my own, set up my business. There's a few additional steps. So I started off trying to help everyone and anyone and everyone, which I'm sure
Right.
many
Right.
coaches
Right.
have
Right. Try to be
tried.
the every coach. Yeah.
Exactly. Which, as we all know, is not an effective way to do things because A, you struggle to attract people, but B, you don't tend to be super good at generating result because you're trying to do everything,
Trying to be
right?
everything. Yeah. 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 For sure.
Yeah, so I made that one. Sort of settled on fat loss. I found that most satisfying from when I helped a client get a result. That was sort of most fulfilling to me. And then early 2020, I had the opportunity to do a DNA test. Um, so I took it, I did it, I got the results back. This is a kind of funny bit of the story when I look back is
Yeah. I'm fascinated by this part. So yeah, tell me.
so ironically, the results came back. It was in an application on my phone, about 100 results, 95 results or something. And I was so overwhelmed, I ignored it for 2 months. Right?
Wow.
How
So
crazy is
wait, so
that?
was this a DNA test testing your body, or like what was this DNA test going to do?
Yes, so it was. It's by a company who had worked or have worked with so Olympic athletes, some of like the
Oh,
world's
okay.
best like competitors, strongmen, people who do like world challenges of running and these sorts of things. So
Okay.
it's there's multiple different types of DNA tests. So we've got things like ancestry, which is
Yeah, because
you
I've
know
done that. That's why I was
yeah.
like, I wonder what you okay, yeah.
So you got that one. Another one would be understanding maybe like medical risks. So you have a
Okay.
higher
Yes.
risk of, say, Alzheimer's or certain cancers, right?
Okay.
That's problem. That's genetic test number two. And then number three would be how can I understand my body to drive improved performance in basically anything that I do? That can be I want to age better. I want to drive more muscle mass. I want to have more energy levels. I want to, you know, support my mental health. I want to improve my
Yeah.
sleep. All those sorts of things.
Mhm.
So the genetic test um, basically looks at our genetic blueprint. So it's in saliva. When we spit in the tube, that's how you do it. You spit in the
Right,
tube. There's no
right.
blood
Yep.
test because your DNA is in every cell in the body, minus red
Yeah.
blood cells, but essentially every cell in the body. So we don't actually need to do a blood test. Most of them are, but that's just additional cost and put
Right,
some
right.
people off. So spit in the tube, and then that goes off to a lab. Basically, some fancy machine runs through it. And what it's understanding is we have certain genes, but there are what we call gene variants. Some fancy terminology, but let's think of them as gene variants.
Okay.
Let's say there are 3 gene variants for any particular gene. So in a very, very simplified view, eye color. I've got brown eyes. Some people have green eyes. Some people have blue eyes, right?
Right, right.
Essentially, there are variants of the same gene. So a gene says, I control this thing. So let's say eye color, hair color.
Okay.
And then depending on which variant you have, changes the external factor. Right, it's a little bit more complicated than that, but
Okay.
in a very rough sense. So we all see the external things, so hair color, eye color, body shape,
Yeah.
propensity towards muscle mass. Right, some people can lift weights once and just seem to blow up. Other people can lift weights all the time and really struggle. So we see those things, but what we tend to overlook, naturally we overlook because there's not sort of an immediate outcome, is what's happening inside. Okay, so when we eat
Right.
food, I have this phrase we've all heard of. We are what we eat, right? So you've
Right.
heard that
Right.
phrase.
Right.
We are what we eat. I like to disagree and say we are not what we eat. We are what we absorb. Okay.
Okay.
So it adds a
Right,
little
right.
level of, let's
I
say,
like that. I like
complexity,
that
but
better. I like that better. Yeah.
complexity, but also accuracy. So
Yeah.
two people, we've probably all sort of heard this anecdotally. Two people doing the same exercise or whatever, it can eat more or less the same food, and the outcomes will be very different. Right?
Yeah. So yeah, that's frustrating. I mean, I know, you're say it like I know when I was in my 20s and my 30s, my friends and I we'd be like on a diet or something together. They'd lose weight and I wouldn't, or I'd lose weight and they wouldn't. And we're like, we're doing the same thing. So that is interesting. Okay. So that's based on our DNA, really.
Yes, so there's there's some other elements to it. So gut health plays a role, because if your gut
Okay.
health is all disrupted, then you struggle to
Right.
absorb things, but your genetics play a huge role. So
Right.
certain vitamins and minerals, which impact things like sleep, energy levels, mental health, our hormones, all of these are impacted by our genetics. If I have a certain gene variant, let's
Yeah.
take vitamin D, right? Vitamin D, we get it from
Right.
the sun. It controls like 25% of the genome. It impacts mental health, our mood, our immunity, our muscle health, inflammation, a ton of things, right? Now, some people can go out in the sun or take a supplement and they're fine. Other people, let's go back to these sort of three variants. Some people are totally fine, just do the average amount, they'll be okay.
Yeah.
Some people really don't need to go out very much and they'll be fine. They have like super absorbers, let's say. And then
Yeah.
other people are super disadvantaged, right? So they're like 40 to 50% drop in efficiency. So if they take in, let's say, 100 units of some nutrient, vitamin D or vitamin A, whatever, their body's only actually absorbing like 50 units of it, right?
Really.
So the risk comes, so we have nutrient deficiencies.
Okay.
Now, nutrient deficiencies, if I don't get enough magnesium, for example, I experience greater stress. I struggle to sleep. I might have lots of different symptoms. If
Yeah.
I am not absorbing enough vitamin D, my mental health might be impacted. I might be getting sick all the time, right? And
Interesting.
these are just
Yeah.
two nutrients, right? Vitamin D and magnesium. There's like 27 different nutrients, and we absorb them all
Yeah. And aren't
differently.
there's tons. I just learned over the holiday weekend, Labor Day, that there's like, isn't there like 7 to 12 different types of magnesium?
Yeah, yes, that
I didn't
is.
know that.
It makes
That's
it more complicated. Yeah,
yes, it does. Yes, it
the further you
does.
go, it just gets more and more complicated. So, what's the there's that lovely graph that's like
Right.
with experience and I don't know, knowledge or something. So
Yeah.
there's what we call the valley of despair. It's like you learn a little bit and you feel like you know everything. You
Right.
learn a bit more and you actually realize you know nothing. And
Yes,
then
that
you
is
enter the
so
valley of
true.
despair. And then
And
it
then,
takes a
yeah, then it's
long
overwhelming. Then it's
time.
just overwhelming. Yeah. I
It
know
takes a long,
nothing.
long
Yeah.
time to get to the point where you go, actually,
Yeah.
how much do
Yeah.
I know? And yeah,
So then fast forward. So you love coaching, you get it, you've taken this DNA test. And so now you decide to put these two things together with your own coaching program. So one thing that I did want to ask you, energy and health. You talk as a first approach to fat loss. Why not just track calories and eat less and exercise more?
yes, great question. So when I speak with prospective clients on a
Yeah.
call before they sort of sign up or make the decision to sign up or not sign up, one of the things I really like to get across is that I take a health-focused approach
Hmm.
to fat loss or weight loss, right? And the differentiator here is everyone can
Yeah.
lose weight.
Yeah.
Just stop eating. Just don't
Yeah.
eat.
Yeah.
Walk or run, 10 miles and you'll lose loads of weight. You'll
Yeah.
feel like absolute dirt and you'll crash the next day, but you'll lose weight, right? So
Right.
that's
Yeah.
highly ineffective. Let's
Hmm.
be honest, because weight is not determined by how much can I lose in a day or a week. It's most of our timelines, sort of a year, decade, several decades perhaps. We want
Yeah.
to achieve better health, achieve body shape, whatever, and maintain that. So really, this is about long-term sustainable view. So my health-focused approach to weight loss starts with energy. Almost always starts with energy, unless
Okay.
someone has very high natural energy levels. Because so the words willpower, discipline,
I
consistency
hate those
thrown
words.
around.
I really do. I
Me
mean,
too.
really, as someone who has struggled with weight my whole life, um, I hate the word like discipline because,
Yeah.
I've always, been disciplined, but it's just, I don't know, it just
Yeah.
goes up and down. So
Yeah. My thing would be you can be disciplined in taking some actions, but if those actions are not um, let's say correct, they're not the right things for you, they're not the right things for your lifestyle, given where you are,
right,
age,
right.
hormones, recovery, kids, right? Then
Then all the discipline in the world doesn't matter if
exactly,
it's not if
exactly.
it's not the right one for you. Okay.
Exactly. And it's generally agreed that willpower is finite. It can get us through times, periods,
Yes.
days, hours.
Yes.
Potentially making a decision at a dinner time using a bit of willpower, great. But we run out and it's just not a long-term strategy. It's
Yeah.
so dependent on how we feel. So this is the key thing here about this energy approach that I take.
Yes.
The decisions that we make, actually one step back, when we decide to lose weight, it's made up of micro decisions that we make probably every hour of every day, right?
Okay.
It's not one single thing that I do.
Yeah.
Oh, I did this one thing at dinner, therefore I'm losing weight. Lovely, that's all good. It's, when I got up in the morning, did I drink that extra little glass of water? At lunchtime, did I do that 15-minute walk? Did I get up out of my chair a few times during the day, which
Right.
helped me feel better?
That's
Did
true.
I
Yeah.
make a slightly better choice at lunch? Did I make a slightly better choice? Did I choose not to snack at that point? Did I do my workout? So all these sort of micro decisions throughout the day, they're
That's true.
so dependent on how we feel, right?
Hmm.
If we feel tired, lethargic, exhausted, worn out, whatever phrasing you want to use, all of those decisions become so hard. Sorry, all those
That's
decisions
true.
become so hard to make positive decisions in.
Right. Because if you're feeling awful, making those, if you're feeling awful, all you want to do is like basically self-medicate or make yourself feel better,
Exactly. Sit on the
really.
sofa, eat chocolate, watch Netflix. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
human, right?
Binge Netflix. I mean, whatever you need to do to feel
Hmm.
better.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, depending on age, alcohol and stuff,
Yeah. 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 Right.
it seems
Right.
attractive in the moment. But those are very much short-term things. They don't resolve the problem, as I'm sure we're all aware of. But it's not a case of, have more discipline, have more willpower. If we take an energy-focused approach, then if we have more energy, say 20% improved energy at each of those times, it doesn't have to be making every decision better. It can be making 20% of those decisions better, right?
Yeah.
30%, 40%. And then
Hmm.
as we tend to make more decisions, we tend to have more energy. So it's a kind of self-fulfilling cycle, if you will.
Yeah.
So if we start off with a couple of key actions, which basically work for everyone, I can
Yeah.
give a couple of those. So let me just bring this up for anyone watching on video. This is my pint glass
Okay.
of water. I don't know.
Water.
That's that 18 ounces. I don't know. I'm not very good with the ounce conversion. Half a litre, just over half a litre. So
Okay.
my recommendation
Yes.
to basically anyone is to have 1 to 2 of those, so half a litre to a litre,
Yep.
within the first 30 to 60 minutes of waking.
Okay.
Right,
That's
you've
a
got
lot.
your
What about coffee? Does coffee count?
ah, so
So
coffee.
no, I know, huh?
Let me share my two, and then I'll talk about coffee because they're all closely related. So
Okay.
throughout the night, most of us sleep. I know. Let's use the term time in bed because that's probably more accurate. We tend to be in bed between, say, 6 to 9 hours, right?
Okay.
If we went at any point during the day and we didn't touch water or any sort of liquid for 6 to 9 hours,
Yeah.
we'd feel really thirsty, right? We can all probably agree that.
We'd feel what?
Really thirsty. We'd
Oh,
feel,
thirsty. Yes, for
we'd
sure.
have a dry
Yes.
mouth. We'd probably
Yeah. Yeah. And
maybe
some
start to have
mornings
a
I
little,
wake up and I am thirsty. Yeah.
yeah. So we might have like brain fog, our energy levels start to dropping off, right? When we wake up in the morning, that is essentially what we've done. We are at a slight level of dehydration. So the
Okay.
first thing we want to do, okay, get up, go to the bathroom, whatever, is take in the appropriate amount of hydration liquids to remove that dehydration.
Okay.
It's one of the simplest things we can do. Right, I talk about it with basically every client
Yeah.
because it's so effective. Drink one of those in the morning, drink 2 of those. Your energy levels will improve. You'll be less hungry. If you're less hungry, you tend to eat a little bit less. This immediately
Right.
helps you drive fat loss without even trying.
Yeah.
Right, so it improves your energy. It helps all those micro decisions that you make through the day. So this is part of my sort of energy-focused approach to weight loss.
Love that. So every morning when you wake up, before coffee, have 1 to 2 glasses of water.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Now my second tip, then I
Yes.
get on to talk coffee, is daylight. I'm cautious to say sunlight because I'm in the UK and right now it's raining and it's 4 in the afternoon. It's very dark. So yeah,
It
sunlight
looks
is
bright in your room. It looks bright, but yeah.
yeah, that's not, it's trick of the camera. So my second tip is we are what we call diurnal creatures. We have a wakeful state and we have a sleepy sort of restful state.
Yes.
So when we're asleep, we want to be as asleep as possible. And then when we're awake, we want to be as awake and sort of energized as possible.
Okay.
One of the key triggers, so think of it almost as a binary 0 and 1. There's a line here and a line here. We don't spend any time in the middle. We want to go from 0 to 1 as quickly as possible. And then when we go to bed, we want to get as close to 0 as possible and then have a really good sleep.
Okay.
So one of the best tools we have in our disposal is light. So light is, light is everywhere. We go outside, we turn lights on. But light from the sun, that can be behind clouds, think of it as a switch. It's like a trigger to our body. So it's like a biological trigger to our body that tells it to wake up.
Yes.
Okay? So what I recommend, we've spoken about the water thing, is step outside. If you don't want to step outside and it's raining, poke your head out the window, open the door, put your head outside.
Yes.
Just take in daylight for a couple of minutes, 5 minutes if you can. I recommend doing that whilst drinking your water. Double up, make it efficient.
So water and sunlight right away, like a plant.
Like a plant. Perfect. We can learn a lot from plants. We can learn a lot from...
We can.
Dogs actually do this. When they wake up, they go and seek out light.
That's true.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
But no one listens to a dog for health advice, but we actually should. They also do some questionable
I'm going to be watching my animals more closely.
They also do some questionable behaviours, but that one we can take learning from. So what that does, it basically, so there's a receptor in the back of your eye, which then triggers something in your brain, which then your brain is the master commander of the body, right?
Yes.
It then shouts at all of its employees, tells all your organs and everything, wake up. All those systems start up pretty quickly, sort of 5-10 minutes.
Yes.
Half an hour later, you'll feel much better. Now, most people use coffee because they're not doing the basic, bit of a generalization, they're not doing the basic biological tricks which would naturally improve their energy levels.
Right.
So if I wake up and I don't go outside, I turn on, internal lights, then I jump in my car and then I go get my coffee. So I'm not hydrating, I'm not getting natural light. And I then have coffee. So caffeine is then being, should we say, relied upon to give me energy because I haven't naturally boosted my energy.
Right.
Now the issue with caffeine is I'm not anti-caffeine. I want people to get the most from their body, right?
Right.
And I think too many people are reliant on caffeine. If you
Can I ask you one quick question? So I live in Michigan and it's dark.
Yes.
So when I get up at 6 or 6:30 or whatever, it's dark outside. So turning on a light, let's say in my kitchen or whatever, does that count or not?
Yeah.
I mean,
great question.
What are you going to do, if you don't have natural light outside? So
yeah. So if you're traveling around, if you're in darker, more northern areas, this is very common, especially in the UK as well. Number one, do the best you can, right? If it's light at 8, get out at 8. If you got up at 6, just get up at 8. Sorry, get out at 8. Okay. Artificial light will have some impact, but the strength of the light and also, strangely, the frequency of the light, so the wavelength and frequency of the sunrise is different. It has more blue light, which is stimulating. It wakes us up.
Interesting. Okay.
So the strength and the frequency
I have heard that,
of the light is particularly, our body is particularly sensitive to that. Mm-hmm. That is more effective. So just make the most of what you can. So turn lights on, be in a bright room, don't sit in a dark room, basically. Yeah. And then when it is light outside, do your best to get a few minutes outside.
Yes. Yeah, I have heard get some sunlight when you wake up and then wait 30 minutes before you have coffee. I forgot who I heard that from. I don't know. But yes. I mean, and, I did go for a while without coffee and I did go for a while with decaf. Not saying I loved it, but but it was fine. It was okay. It's more of a habit, getting up, having a cup of coffee. I don't know if your clients tell you that. It's just more of a habit. My husband and I, we have a cup of coffee. I go to my office, I don't know.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's quick fix, fat loss. We're trying to get quicker. I'm very much not in that camp. I'm in team sustainable. So as much as there is all of these sort of perfect actions, right, biologically and based on DNA and all these things, these are the best actions you could possibly take for your health.
Yes.
However, we don't live in an ideal world. No one does.
Yeah.
Especially executives, the sort of MDs, business owners that I work with. They live in incredibly challenging situations, circumstances.
Yeah.
So it's their families, travel, what do their kids like for dinner is often what determines what they're eating for dinner.
Yeah.
Um, Gone.
Yeah, can I jump ahead? When
Sure.
you brought that up, I was thinking, right, the majority of my audience are people that they're all working, most of them. So, I mean, so how do you get in? So let's talk like nutrients, and because I know we have so much to unpack, so I want to be, conscious of our time and everything together. So, there's so many things we talk about, like muscle and sustainable fat loss, but I want to talk about, if we can, like protein,
Hmm.
like how much, so somebody on the go, or somebody who's working and they don't have, I mean, what do you recommend for, because protein is pretty important. I mean, I've only become aware of that in like the last year and a half. I don't know where I was before that, but um you know what gram per day target do you recommend for most clients?
Yeah, brilliant question. So protein is a huge topic, very, very important one. So just briefly, protein,
Yeah.
firstly, it's very satiating, so it fills us up
Yes.
per calorie better than any other macronutrient, basically. So other
Yeah.
macronutrients be carbohydrates and fats. So if we're trying to lose weight, we want to be as full as possible for us, or almost as fewer calories as possible, right? We don't want to eat tiny amounts, but we want to eat enough that puts us in a calorie deficit so we end up losing fat. So protein is very
Mhm.
useful in that standpoint.
Yes.
It's also very useful for energy levels. It keeps us sustained. I'd say it gives us flat, consistent energy, which is very supportive. One of the mechanisms of the way it does that is through blood sugar management. So it supports
Okay.
more consistent blood sugar, which therefore we avoid these sort of spikes and troughs, which can be very conducive with sluggishness and feeling tired and brain fog and all these
Yes.
sorts of things.
Yeah. And
It's
for time poor leaders, like people who don't have enough time, what's your like minimum effective dose of protein? And also, I know this is, but like sleep and steps. I mean, I know we may have to have another talk because there's so much to, like I said, so much to unpack here. So, if they're on the go, I mean, do you have like a recommended, or is it based on their weight?
Yeah, so the general
Okay.
recommendation for target per day, right? So what really matters is very, very important because lots of people will tell you have to get X amount at different
Yes.
intervals per
Yes.
day, or I've just
I've
done a
heard that.
workout, you have to
Yeah.
eat this. Best advice is keep it simple, focus on a total target because your body actually absorbs protein really slowly. So if I eat loads of protein, like I say a huge steak the size of my face, right? That in the middle of the day, I
Yeah.
mean, feel free to do that daily if you want. I think it's a
Right.
great fun way to live. Also,
Yeah.
it depends on lots of factors, but that protein is being absorbed over the next like 8 hours or something.
Oh,
So
okay.
do I need to be eating every few hours to get this constant supply? Not really.
Okay.
Digestion is very, very slow. If you're eating like whole real foods that you have to chew and your body has to break down, then that
Right.
digestion and
Right.
release takes a long, long time. So it's much more about total consumption. So a general rule is based on body weight, so it's between 0.7 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. So I weigh about 160 pounds.
Mhm.
My target is about 150 grams. Now,
Okay.
that may be, some people may say, oh, that's suboptimal. You should be hitting 160. But for me, 150 is easy and enjoyable. If I was to push it to 160 or a little bit more, I'd have to start thinking about it a lot more. I'd have to spend
Right.
more
Right.
time doing it.
Right. Yes. And
And
thinking
actually,
about it.
the
Yes.
benefits really sort of top off as you get to the upper levels. So,
So, do you think so? My sons are very into protein.
mm,
They work out, probably every day, and they come home from the gym and they immediately go to protein drinks.
mm,
I mean, they eat throughout the day, but when they both work odd hours, so a lot of times they work out at night, or get home, let's say at like 10 or 11 or whatever. And they go to protein drinks. I mean, in a pinch, do you think those are okay, protein drinks?
yes, I use them daily.
Oh,
Most people, most clients of mine would probably, let's say, 60 to 70, 75% of my clients use them on a regular basis, basically because they're convenient, right?
yes.
And
Yes.
just to put some numbers on things, because I'm a very numbers sort of
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you eat, let's say chicken
Yes.
breast, everyone talks about
My
chicken breast,
favorite.
right?
Yeah.
Brilliant. 25% protein roughly. Right, let's assume 25% protein. So if I eat 100 grams of chicken breast, I'm eating 25 grams of protein. A
Yes.
protein powder, say something you sort of scoop out and put in with water and you shake it up, will be around between, say, 70% and 90% protein.
Oh, okay.
So I can get the equivalent protein of a chicken breast in a single scoop, let's say 30 grams
Wow.
of powder, which
Okay.
gives me about
Yeah.
25 grams of protein, and drink that, and it's taken me, 20 seconds. I don't have to cook the
Exactly.
chicken. I don't have to
Yeah.
sit down and eat it.
Yes. It's quick and
Done,
easy. Yeah.
dusted.
Okay. Yeah. And I drink those at night sometimes if I don't
Cool.
eat dinner or whatever. I'm just busy. And okay. So I know I had, I told you I was so excited to talk to you. I have so many questions. Um, you talk about the importance of clarity, removing noise, focusing your attention, which helps drive more results and sustainability. And so what you mean by that is it just getting more clear of what you want to do, taking time to like remove the noise, maybe going for a walk, slowing things down, and that helps with like keeping weight off? Or what do you
Yes,
mean by
good
that?
question. So what you said there at the end, I mean,
Yeah.
that is helpful if you're struggling with stress. Like there are so many fancy stress techniques.
Yeah.
My favorite is just A, get outside. So walk, number one, and B, try and do that walking outside because being out in nature, fresh air is just,
In the
it's
sun.
what our
Yeah.
body wants. Ideally
Yeah.
in the sun. If it's, dark, then that's also fine. But just getting outside just helps.
Okay.
So what I mean by the importance of clarity is there is so much noise in the health, well-being, supplement, exercise, nutrition space, right?
Yes.
All of us spend time on social media, right? If you're watching this, you've
Yes.
probably seen it on social media. There are thousands, tens of thousands of other coaches, nutrition so-called experts, touting their method and trying to, sell you something. Everyone has an agenda. Everyone has something to sell. Everyone has their own idea. And to be honest, to
Right.
stand out these days, it's become, sadly, you have to do something different to try and stand out. Because if you're just saying to everyone, "Oh, get your steps in, eat some protein,
Right.
sleep a good night's sleep," they go, "Okay, well, I don't need to pay for that, do I?"
I've
So
already heard that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so it has to be like, "Oh, only eat meat, only you know
Right.
kale, sleep is killing you," all these sort of things. It's all
Yeah.
crazy. So when I talk about clarity, so the DNA testing is amazing because it gives you all this insight, right? It now gives, I've upgraded it, it gives you 150, gives my clients about 150 different insights into how their body works in
Wow.
so many different ways. So it's
Oh
pretty,
my
I mean, I
gosh.
nerd out on that stuff. But one of the best ways it drives results is not through the impact of the insights itself. That obviously helps.
Yeah.
100% that helps. It's the fact that those results are based on the individual. So let's take someone called John. Let's say John signs up to work with me. John is bombarded with messages with ads of all different approaches. His mate
Right.
down the road is telling him to just eat ribeye steaks for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Right. Right.
Susan at the water cooler is telling him to cut out all meat 'cause it's going to make him die early. Right? He doesn't know. Some guy down the gym tried to sell him some supplements out of a dodgy bag. Right? He's been pulled from pillar to post. He doesn't know what works. I say to John, based on his saliva, John, your data says do this, do that, and have a little bit of that. John
Wow.
goes, oh my God, all the noise goes quiet. He can
Yes.
cut out what everyone else does and just goes,
Yes.
well, I know this works for my body because that's what the data for me says. That's what I mean by clarity. And that
I love that
simplicity is,
because it's focused on you,
yeah.
your saliva, your genes. I mean, that is amazing to me. It's totally focused on you. Yeah.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah. And when it comes to time poor execs who are traveling and, I ask them, because everything has to fit within their lifestyle. So how much time do you really have? And
Right.
they think about it and they go, maybe like 10 minutes a day. I'm like, right, it's fine. Thank you for being honest, because firstly, almost no one's honest about that. They'll say, oh, I've got loads. Yeah, I've got like 2 hours a day. And then do they actually? No, because they'll get pulled into important meetings and
Right.
family stuff.
Right. Right. Into life, and
Yeah.
busyness and everything.
So it's like, right, 10 minutes a day. What can we do?
Right.
We can simplify it to the most important actions. Do that, focus on those things, run that for a few weeks and just see how you get on.
Love that.
Mm.
Perimenopause, menopause, what do you have any tips for women going through these hormonal changes, particularly around like recovery or like say, exercise or eating? I don't know. It's just, I've been hearing so much about it because I'm, it's kind of entering in that era. But, so what advice do you have for women in midlife and perimenopause, menopause?
Yes, great question. So I'd say my audience is split into two. Number one is generally male execs around the world, 40s, 50s, etc. And the other one is perimenopausal or menopausal
Oh,
women. Um,
perfect.
so yeah, I'm very, very familiar with it. Firstly, it's like running health on hard mode. That's my gamer analogy, right?
Yeah,
Let's just get that out of the way. Everything gets a bit harder, and
it
I don't
does.
want to pretend it doesn't.
Right. It does. Our bodies change. I mean, we lose, what
Yeah,
is it, like 32 essential, or I don't know, yeah. We lose all of our hormones and we're left. Yeah.
it all gets a bit weird and a bit challenging.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yes, f way I would look at it is if we were maintaining a certain weight, fitness level, muscle mass, etc., doing a set of actions, right?
Okay.
When menopause, perimenopause, etc., hits, we have to tighten up. We have to get a little bit.
More,
Um,
like more
we
discipline or
have to
more.
take them a little bit further. Okay.
Okay.
Now, if I had to simplify to say, and I'll see how these go. Let's say between 3 and 5.
Yeah.
Number one, double down. Really make sure you are hitting your protein, and if you're unsure, go a little bit further with your protein. So
Okay.
if you were doing, for example, 0.7 grams per kilo, sorry, per pound of body weight, then I would aim for 1 gram per pound of body weight because
Okay.
one of the big risks with these hormonal changes is you lose a lot of muscle mass.
Yes.
Muscle mass is related with like kind of energy, how you manage blood sugar. So if you have less muscle mass, you are more susceptible to blood sugar spikes and crashes,
Okay.
which on those crashes you feel lethargic, you feel tired, you feel maybe brain fog, right? So we want to avoid those. One of the real sort of root ways we can do that
Yeah.
is by maintaining or building muscle mass. Okay, so think of muscle mass as protecting energy.
Yeah.
Also makes us look, uh, I guess, semi-objectively better. Most people would
Yeah.
agree to some level. So protein really, really important. Also keeps us full. And if we're trying to maintain our weight and things are just a bit harder, then we really need to double down on the foods that fill us up for fewer
Okay.
calories. Those are
Hmm.
almost always proteins or like just vegetable things because vegetables
Yes.
just super low calories.
Yeah. I love
Okay,
protein.
protein number one.
Protein's my new best friend. Yeah.
Lovely, fantastic. Number two would be double down on sleep
That
because
that's very
it
hard.
tends to get harder.
It is
Okay,
hard.
let me rephrase. Double down on sleep routines and sort of like a
Okay.
wind down routine. So
Mm-hmm.
we wake up in the morning, we go, last night was, I woke up 3 times. That was really annoying. I tossed and turned. Okay, we
Yeah.
can't exactly control the outcome of sleep, of how that sleep
Right.
is. What we can control is what we do that day or that night and that night to give us the best possible shot at sleeping better, more consistently. Okay?
Yeah.
Because how we feel in a day is partly made up of the sleep we had the night before, but it's also made up of the sleep we had the night before, the night before, the night before, and so on.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So it's just about aiming for, a 10-20% improvement across the board. So things like actually taking some time to switch off, wind down. If your brain is going and you get into bed and you can't shut up your brain, sit there and get a blank piece of paper, write down all your thoughts, get it all down on paper. Essentially, you're offloading from your brain, you're
Right.
outsourcing.
Right. Right.
That can help you get off sleep.
That's a good
Consider,
idea. And then it'll be there in the morning when
sure,
you need to rethink about it all. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Cool your room down. Maybe spend some time reading a book, dim the lights, have a hot drink of chamomile tea or something.
Okay.
Don't eat too late, don't exercise too late. Both
Right.
of these things can impact your sleep quality and sleep depth.
Yeah.
So just some basic ideas, but really, I'd say, and I say this as a human who has done this for other things, have a moan about it, get that moan out the way. It makes you feel a bit better. Moan about it to friends, family, close ones. Do
Yeah.
it, get it out of the way. Accept that we are human and we need to complain about things. Number two is be really objective and honest with yourself about your sleep routines, your food behaviors, etc. So,
Okay.
have you got into a really bad habit of just sitting on your phone all the way through until the moment before you go to bed, right? Because menopause will be one thing that will be disrupting your sleep. But if you've
Right.
also developed that new habit, that is not going to help anyone sleep.
Right. No.
So don't blame that all on menopause if actually that is contributing,
Right. Right. Right.
50%. That's
Yeah.
something you can do something about. Change that for a book. Put a filter on your blue light filter on your phone.
Yes. Books before bed are awesome. They're
Yeah,
wonderful. Yeah.
yeah.
Talk about calming.
Just
Okay. Wait. I have a couple more questions, but if you
can
have,
I just finish
yes.
one? I'll go one more minute on that. So I've got protein. We got sleep.
Yes.
I'll be really, really honest with that. Number three would be lift weights.
Yeah. I was just going to ask you about that.
There you go.
Okay. Lifting weights, like strength versus cardio. Yeah. So if we can segue into that, I mean, well, especially for people in their 40s and 50s. I walk every day, like fast walk. And, my goal is to get in like 5,000 steps before 10 a.m.,
Love it.
Um, so, but I know strength is important and I know I need to work on my core and I hear all that. So what do you recommend? Like for busy people, working
Yes.
and if they're not working in a home office like me, where I can quick get on the floor and do some planks or whatever throughout the day. What do you recommend?
It's funny this question is asked now because last week and today I took my parents. My parents are recently retired. I took my parents to the gym. I'm currently visiting them.
Oh my
I took my
goodness.
parents to the gym and I've been teaching them how to lift weights properly.
Okay.
This has been a battle that's been going on for about 5 years. I've been trying to get them into weights. Oh, when we retire.
Yeah. Well,
They've
now
been
they're
retired for
retired. Yeah.
been retired for 4 months, and finally it's happened. Maybe they'll hear me. But yeah, they've actually really enjoyed it. Funnily enough,
Yeah.
they'll
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
probably shout at me tomorrow because I'll be aching. But okay,
Yeah.
what most people do who lift weights in their 20s or 30s, early
Yeah.
30s, is they'll go, right, I'll go to the gym like 5 days a week. I'll do chest on Monday, I'll do back on Tuesday, I'll do
Yes.
legs on Wednesday. So we split the body into separate
Yeah.
parts because we have the time to go, and then we end up spending
Yeah.
like 7 hours in the gym across a week. It's a
Right.
very, very ineffective way of training. It's also a bit more stress on the body. It's just really not the way to do it if you're sort of, I don't know, even 35 and above. What I would suggest is, especially if you're super time short and you've not got much time at all, is do full body workouts. I'll explain what I mean by that in a second. And you can get a great session in about 20 minutes,
Okay.
right? One more key thing would be focus entirely on getting strong.
Yeah.
Now, what I mean by that is your weight training session is not your cardio session.
Right.
To be honest, cardio, I just for most people, they can achieve their goals with some really good strength training, which is very separate to their cardio, and their cardio is just walking, just walk.
Yes. Yeah.
For most people, that's right, especially if you're under a lot of stress. Walking will support stress. The last thing you want to do is add more stress through exercise. You could do HIIT training, you could do Tabata train, like you do all these complex CrossFit.
Right.
They're
Right.
so
Yeah.
stressful on the body. The
Yeah.
actual net positive outcome is very, very minimal. So a full body session, we can basically split the body into three parts. We split like 95% of the body's muscles can be encapsulated into three parts. So you have legs, quads, glutes, our bum, hamstrings, those are the key ones. So if I'm doing any sort of leg press, squat, deadlift movement, any of those sort of key movements, I train like almost all of the muscles in my legs. Okay, legs are the biggest muscle group in the body. So if you're looking to get the absolute maximum return on investment, if you will, on your time, using your legs incredibly powerful. Right, so legs number one. A
Okay.
pull movement. So pulling uses your back and your biceps. So I can pull down vertically or I can pull towards me. That's called a row. Choose one if you've got time, do both. That's an incredibly effective way to engage basically a third of your muscles. Your back is a very big group of muscles.
Yeah.
The third movement would be a push movement. So using your chest and your shoulders and your triceps. So your chest is a big muscle group, shoulders a little bit smaller, triceps a little bit smaller. So if you're doing any sort of pressing with a weight like a push-up, you're doing a
Yes.
shoulder press, a bench press, you're using those push muscles. So if you do one leg movement, one
Yes.
pull movement, one push
Okay.
movement, 20 minutes, you've worked most of the muscles in your body. go off and go do your day of work, right? Do that 3 times a week is an incredibly effective way to get the benefits of
Love
strength
that.
training.
Love that. Love that. Okay, that's doable. That's
Mm,
doable. Okay, supplements. So in fact, last night when I was scrolling before bed, I had bookmarked some that I thought, oh, those might, they sounded like what I need. What do you recommend as far as supplements? And is it, I suppose it's per person in their DNA, what they need really, right? But do you have any like basic ones like, if you're at this age, you should probably take this. Do you have any like that you would recommend?
great question. So yes, generally speaking, supplements very personalized. So
Yeah.
even dosages of things based on the absorption stuff we spoke about earlier.
Yes.
For example, I have poor vitamin D absorption, so I take quite a high dose of vitamin D. Other people might have moderate, so therefore they should have a moderate level of vitamin D supplement.
Yeah.
Um, okay, my baseline ones for most people, not necessarily everyone, but most people, are vitamin D, because most people do not get out in the sun enough. If they
Right.
do, let's say the winter months, sorry, um, we're more covered up creating vitamin D. So vitamin D is created when sunlight hits your skin. The body then creates vitamin D. So your skin needs to be showing. We tend to wear more clothes in winter. We tend to spend less time outside in winter. So
Right. Right.
about 50% of people become vitamin D deficient throughout the year.
Oh yeah.
Just cover your baseline. You
Yeah.
cannot reliably get it through food. That's my advice. You cannot reliably get it through food. Some people
Okay.
will say you can. I say don't listen to those people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Vitamin D should be taken through supplement is my
Okay.
personal opinion. Vitamin D.
How
Uh,
much? Sorry, how much?
yeah,
Because I'm thinking, okay, I need to order all this. And if you have, and also if you have, I know Summer will put in the show notes, how we can get in touch with you and everything. But if you have a list of recommendations or anything like that, or um, if you can share them, that would be amazing.
cool. Yeah, I'll put some together.
Okay. So vitamin
Vitamin D,
D. Yeah.
I'd say, so I take 4,000 IUs,
Okay.
which is a higher dose.
Yeah.
So depending on your blood levels, genetics, and sort of things,
Okay.
that's what I do during summer. During winter, I sometimes go a bit higher,
Okay.
because I get outside less. So that can sort of vary. There's almost like a two-level summer, winter, depending on what I'm doing, where I am. Vitamin D. Second would be omega-3s. So omega-3s are these types of fats that are
Oh,
found
omega
in
3.
fish.
Yes. Yes.
Omega-3s.
Yes. Okay.
Now, they've been around for ages. I mean, they've been found in
Yeah.
nature for forever, but they've become much more trendy, should we say, in recent years. But very, very
Yes.
recently, it has been understood, and I think this is fascinating. A low omega-3 index, aka low levels of omega-3s within the body, has the same impact on life expectancy when you're going to die, basically, when you're expected to die, as smoking does. Right?
Wow. So not
Madness, isn't
getting
it?
enough omega 3 is like smoking.
Yes.
Oh my
And
gosh.
how crazy is that? So,
Crazy.
typical advice, do X amount of exercise per week, eat enough vegetables, don't
Yeah.
smoke, sleep enough, right? Eat enough
Wow.
fish, or take an omega-3 supplement.
Oh
Key
yeah, I
things
don't
with
eat enough
omega-3
fish.
supplement, look out for the term high strength. So what omega-3 is contained within fish oil. Okay,
Right.
you can get it through algae, but I'll ignore that for now. Almost 90% of supplements come from fish. So we get it through fish oil. However, omega-3s, the active omega-3 compounds, there's something called EPA and something called DHA, that's what they are, make up some of the fish oil. Okay, so in a
Okay.
low quality omega-3 supplement, it will be about 30% of these actual omega-3s. So if I take 1 gram per day, I'm only getting 0.3 grams per day of these actual omega-3s that I actually need. Now my recommendation would be aim for a good 1 to 1.5 grams of
Okay.
actual omega-3s. So a high
Okay.
strength supplement will give you about double that, so it'll give you about 60%. So if it's 1 gram of fish oil per capsule, it will be
Okay.
about 600 milligrams or 700 milligrams of actual omega-3s, and that's what we want because that has the effects on the body.
Okay.
So
I'm
omega-3s,
actually
I'd
writing
aim
this
for one
down.
gram.
Okay.
Great.
All right. Wow. Okay. And then so vitamin D, omega 3, and you have one more?
Ooh. Uh,
Just one more, one more. Yeah.
one more. If you are, it's really tough. Oh,
If you, if you,
there's
if you,
three in my mind. I'll give you
okay,
my 10-second review of three.
sure.
Number one, if you're training, exercising regularly and under
Yeah.
stress, I'd recommend creatine.
Oh my gosh, my kids, they take creatine.
I
Okay.
highly recommend that. That's incredibly safe. It's been tested for years and years.
That's
I
when
think
you're
it's the most
exercising and
supplement,
weightlifting and everything, right?
but it's now being linked to cognitive performance, especially under stress or sleep deprivation. So
Wow.
amazing, absolutely amazing,
Okay.
safe, healthy molecule. Um, yeah, creatine.
Okay.
If you struggle with sleep quality, magnesium.
I was going to say magnesium. Yep.
There's a ton of different types. It depends on a few different factors, but look up L-threonate,
Okay.
Threonate, threonate,
Okay.
is the best absorbed because it crosses the blood-brain barrier, so it's very, very well absorbed. Uh, although that's not for everyone, but for most people. And then number three, if you're highly stressed, really, really stressed, and find that sleep can sometimes elude you because of that, look into ashwagandha.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I
That's
actually
a
have
really cool.
that. Yeah. I have that as well. All right. So
I'll
I'm not doing
probably
too
kick
bad.
myself
I've got all of those
for
except
missing
vitamin
one.
D. Huh?
I'll probably kick myself for missing one. Okay, sorry, one final one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is very genetically dependent.
Okay.
Um, a methylated B vitamin complex.
Okay.
So
Methylated.
methylated,
Okay. Yep.
METHYL.
So why
Ated.
methylated?
Yeah, so B vitamins, so we're talking folates
Yeah.
or folic acid, B12, B6, etc. These are very common, very cheaply produced vitamins,
Okay.
which are added to things like cereals and bread and stuff.
Okay.
However, they come in multiple formats. So go back to the absorption thing. I have a gene variant. It's 40% of people have this, which can impact mood, energy levels, aging, and a few other things. So it's really important.
Wow.
Which
Okay.
impacts my absorption of folate or folic acid.
Okay.
So synthetic form, okay, human-made, is called folic acid.
Yes.
I would not suggest anyone take that, apart
Okay.
from pregnancy aside.
Right.
So if you're not pregnant, ignore this advice. Sorry, listen to this advice.
If
If
you
you are
are
pregnant,
pregnant.
ignore
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Folate is found in folate related to foliage, green stuff,
Yes.
green leafy stuff, right? If we
So
eat
just
lots of
eat the plants outside.
yeah, some of the plants outside, the edible ones.
Yeah,
However,
yeah.
in the body, what happens is you turn folate into something called methylfolate.
Okay.
Okay. So when I say the term methylated, it's take your nutrient, add this chemical group called methyl group, which
Yes.
makes it a methylated B vitamin. That is what you actually absorb and go on to use.
Okay.
So rather than, again, this is highly genetic, so I have a massive disadvantage in turning this thing called folate into this useful thing called methylfolate.
Okay. Okay.
So what I do is I skip that step. I just take this guy. I take
The
methylfolate
methylfolate.
directly.
Okay. You
I
just, yes.
skip my risk. I'm covered. I'm fine. All is happy. There are more. There's lots more. There's a B6 one. There's a B12 one. They're also related to something called methionine and homocysteine, which
Yeah.
increases heart disease risk and all these things. So it's all very complicated, but the simplest advice I can give is look for a methylated B vitamin complex
Okay.
and take that.
This has been amazing. This has just been amazing. I was thinking, okay, I need to make an appointment with you ASAP. I would love to do the DNA testing. I just think it's fascinating. So how do people get in touch with you, Alex? Obviously, your LinkedIn profile, which by the way is amazing. I love your posts.
Thank you.
They're so entertaining and really valuable and interesting. So how do they get in touch with you?
Best way is to go onto my LinkedIn and just
Okay.
send me a message. If you send me a message, I'll always pick it up.
Yeah, it's Alex Hall is his name.
Yeah.
And Summer will put it in the show notes. So she'll have the links right there. Okay.
Yeah, and then basically I'll ask some questions if you're just curious and you want to follow along. Brilliant. If you want to do DNA testing, if you want to try and lose some weight, whatever, I'll just
Wow.
ask a few questions. If
Okay.
we're a good fit, or I'm getting the impression it's a good fit, then I'll suggest we have a conversation. No commitment. It's just I it's much easier for me to assess and understand whether I can help someone on a phone call, on a Zoom call.
Yeah, that makes sense. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
And then I can give my idea for how things work and answer any questions and everything like that.
Yeah. Well, again, this has been amazing. I was furiously taking notes, even though this is going to be recorded, and we'll be editing this, a little, probably not much, but so I don't need to take notes, but I did. So, but thank you so much. This has been great. I appreciate all the information that you gave us, and wow, DNA led nutrition. I love this. All right. Well,
Thank you.
folks, you know how to find Alex on LinkedIn. It'll be in the show notes as well. Thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thanks for the brilliant questions. I think we were on the same wavelength with many things like protein and supplements.
Yeah.
And creatine.
Yeah. Because like I said, I had been thinking about this since we set up the time to do this. So I appreciate you coming, and hopefully we can have you again and dive a little deeper into it.
Love it.
All right.
You.
Thank you. Thanks again for listening to the Office Latte Podcast. You can find us anywhere you listen to your podcast. You can follow the podcast on Instagram and TikTok at Executive Resume, or subscribe to our YouTube channel, Office Latte Podcast. If you have any career questions or conversations you want us to talk about, send them to officelattepodcast@gmail.com, and we'll answer them in an upcoming show. Have a great week and stay caffeinated.